Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the One Piece card game. This is going to be the final episode in my entire review of Set 4. Oh, it's been a long time coming. I hope you guys have enjoyed all the previous videos. If you are watching these on Patreon, thank you so much. And if you're watching these on YouTube, you should probably check out the previous ones. I don't know if you've necessarily seen them all, so you can check them out there. The reason I mentioned Patreon is because all of these were uploaded to Patreon at the exact same time. So obviously missed the boat a bit if you wanted to see them all early at the same time. But if you do want to see stuff like in-depth guides to various different decks, then you should check out the Patreon, which will be linked in the description. Okay, enough shelling. Let's go ahead and get talking. So yellow is a bit of a weird one because it didn't really get its own leader. Like if you were to look at Queen and Crocodile, I would say that, you know, they're sort of, their flagship color is definitely blue and purple respectively, but they are going to be using these generically powerful yellow tools that are just really, really good. And I think that's sort of the defining trait of yellow in the set. It's just a lot of very, very powerful cards. That basically just bleed into all sorts of different decks. Anything with yellow is essentially going to be interested in picking up a good 3 of these at the bare minimum. Okay, let's get started with Otama. Honestly, I'm not even going to waste time talking about this card. It's absolutely atrocious. Like, you're never never playing this. Otoko, this is a 2-0. This is a 1K counter. On play, you may trash 2 Wano type cards from your hand. If you have 1 or less life, heal 1. A little expensive. Yes, it is a heal, but you're essentially going -3 from hand to do it. And I would argue that a 1 life is equal to like 3 cards, like a draw 3. So with that in mind, I would say this is a wash, but like it could be worse and it could be a little bit better. And it's not like, if this was like on a 4-6 or something, I'd be like, okay, well, it's on a big body at least. The fact it's on a basically worthless body means that I don't think it's very, very good. And then we got Olin. This is a 7-7. It's also treated as Charlotte Linlin, and then trigger if you have 1 or less life cards, you can play this card. Obviously, playing out a 7-7 for free is good, but is it good enough to be playing a complete brick at any other time? No, it is not. Beige, on the other hand, this is probably the single card that is guaranteed going to be at 4 copies in every single deck that plays yellow. So this is a 3-3, you're never playing it. It's 2k counter with the trigger up to 1 of your opponent's leaders or character cards cannot attack during this turn. This is crazy. This, if you want to punish people for committing Don too early in a turn, like this is so broken against bad players, and it's like crazy good against good ones too, but like against bad players, this is like Jesus Christ, like this is just rough. Yeah, this is a stable 4 of in every yellow deck from now until it gets power crept. This is crazy. Carmel, this is a 2 cost 1k counter. On play, you draw a card, and then the trigger plays this card, and then you KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less. Obviously, because they restricted the your turn part of this to be the on play draw to be only during your turn, I don't think this card's particularly good. I also think it's not really synergistic with anything, and yeah. Just a bit sinister, not great. All right, Kinemon. So Kinemon is like the centerpiece of this new deck, which they're trying to get you to build. I don't know how well it's going to go. So this is a 6-6 Land of Wano. This is a so once per turn you pay 1. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and you set this character as active. So the idea here is obviously you can just load it up with a metric ton of Don and then just start swinging. I get what they're going for. I just don't think it's worth it. It's a 6-6 is really bad, and the fact that you like you have to be adding cards from your life to your hand, right? Like it's not. You know, that's expensive. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is particularly good. Maybe it'll form some sort of OTK someday. I think that's entirely possible. You know, fundamentally, whenever something's restanding like this, you've always got to bear that in mind. If that is a thing, it's probably a ways off. Definitely not in this set. Then we got Kazuki Hiyori. So this is a 2-0, 2k counter, Land of Wano Kazuki Clan. On play, up to 1 of your Land of Wano type leaders or characters gains 1k during this turn, and the trigger plays the card. So this is actually something you will want to be playing in Wano-based decks, because that trigger on your opponent's turn, buffing you up by 1k, can be quite relevant. It's also 2k counter, so yeah, it's pretty good. Sanji is the other card that is a staple 4 of and everything. It's a blocker, 4-5, 1k counter, trigger plays it by pitching a card. Yep. Yep, that's 4 copies. Charlotte Armand. So this is a 3/3, 2k counter, Big Mom Pirates. Activate main once per turn. You may trash one trigger from your hand, rest up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less. So you're never actually playing this card out. It is a searchable 2k counter. Honestly, you're playing Stroyson over this. I don't really see a particularly compelling reason to ever play this card. So yeah. We got Charlotte to Bavarois, I don't know. 3/4, this is a 1k counter. Don 1, if you have less life than your opponent, this gains 1k. So, like Zorro in that sense, the starter deck Zorro, but with a 1k counter. And then the trigger is you can pitch to play. Honestly, this is okay, but I just don't really see you justifying the space for it, but it's okay. Perispero, this is a 6/8. We've seen how good Thatch-esque cards can be, so yep, definitely something worth considering. Then we've got Charlotte Moscato. So this is a 3/4, 1k counter. Don 1, this character gains Banish, and then you may trash one card from your hand to play this card. I think this is just going to be one of those ones where it may be relevant depending on the format, depending on how it looks. Banish is scary. It's not well statted. If it was a 3/5, I'd really like it much more. It is a trigger play. It's okay. It's bad to okay. Then we've got Tonoyasu. This is a 2/2, 1k counter. Activate main, you may trash this character. Up to one of your Land of Wano type leader or characters gains 3k power during this turn. So this is one of those combo type cards where you'd want to be using this to buff up your Kinemon. And you played it a turn before, you're actually getting access to a much bigger Kinemon than you were previously. So yeah, it's part of a combo. For that, it's fine. Outside of that, it is technically Don efficient, and it does have a 1k counter. So I'd say this is okay. This is an okay card. And next we've got Pound. This is a Whole Cake Island traded unit, 3/3, 1k counter. It has blocker, and then on KO, add up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the top or bottom of your opponent's life face up. I just don't think you'd ever really want to be playing this because your opponent's not really losing anything that valuable. They're losing one card. It's cheap. If it's a blocker, fine, but like, meh. You know, like, if it's just one of those weird ones, your opponent can play around it potentially as well, and this isn't really searchable in any way, so yeah, I don't think this is great, and it doesn't have a trigger to play it. I feel like we're always playing Brûlé over this. Okay, we got Hera. This is a 5-cost 3k unit, 1k counter, trigger plays it. Activate main, you may trash one homies type character other than this character and rest this character. Set up to one of your Charlotte Linen characters as active. So this is obviously very, very scary. The idea being that you are basically constructing a deck that is just built around stacking up one of your Charlotte Linens to crazy levels. Obviously, you can imagine the situation where if you have all of the homies plus a 10-cost Big Mom out, it's over, right? It's all over. What's your opponent doing against that? That's basically Exodia in one piece. It's never going to happen, but it's cool. Fun card more than anything. Okay, Yamato. This is the third genuinely very, very good card. So this is a 9/9. On play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost that is equal to or less than the total life of you and your opponent. Then, if you have one or less life, you can add up to one card from top of your life to your top of your deck to your life area. This card is nuts. It is so good. You are almost always going to be able to get a heal off of this if you want to. Equally, you are able to potentially play it out early if there has not been much damage done during the game and get some real value removal out of it, right? Like, if this red on play, pop a 6-cost, we'd be losing our goddamn minds. We'd say this card is crazy. It doesn't read that, but it reads something that's a little bit more finicky, but also arguably better. I think this card is crazy good. You watch this in practice and you will change your mind if you don't think it's good. Yeah, this is an insanely powerful card. Absolutely going to see play across the board in yellow. Then we got Robbie. This is just a 2/3 with a trigger to play it. It is terrible. Randolph is a 5/7 Big Mom traded and homies traded card, so, you know, relevant for Hera. Yeah, this is a 5/7, so it's pretty decent. Okay, finally we have our events. So firstly we have Heavenly Fire. This is a 1-cost event. Main, add up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less to the top or bottom of your opponent's life face up. And the trigger, you may add up to one card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Add one. Add up to one card from your hand to the top of your life cards. So this is an interesting trigger. Like, honestly, as a trigger, it's like, yes, you get to do some stacking and chopping and changing, but you aren't really getting value. You know, it's not like you're drawing a card to replace it. And the main, yes, are removing something immediately, but your opponent is getting it in their life. Now, I think this is a card in Yellow-Black Big Mom that's potentially very crazy because, yes, the second this is coming online with cost reductions, this becomes insane, right? Like, just stacking an 8-cost or something is ridiculous with a 10-cost Kuzan. But yeah, I think this is a okay card with some potential cool utility. Then we've got Diablo Jambe Zhu Shot. So this is a 3-cost counter. Up to one of your leaders or characters gains 6k. Then if you and your opponent have a total of 4 or less life, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, and the trigger draws a card. I just don't think it's doing enough. The 2 or less, really? Like, it couldn't have been 3 or less or 4 or less. At least then it might have been useful. Like, what's this really doing? KOing chump blockers? Yeah, not great. And finally, we've got Gun Madoki. So this is a 1-cost event. A main, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand. Up to one of your characters with Wano gains double attack for the turn. And then the trigger is one of your leaders or characters gains 1k for the turn. So, obviously, the idea, right? Like, if you were to look at the idea of the Odin deck, is you get your opponent down to 2 life. You establish your Kinemon. The Land of Wano deck. You establish your Kinemon, you get your opponent down to like 2 life, and then you go, okay, cool. Toneyasu, which you somehow managed to build a board of 4 Toneyasus. So, you know, plus 12k, your Kinemon's at 18. You slap 9 Dons onto the Kinemon to make it 27. You Gun Madoki to give him double attack. Make him 26 because you need an extra Don. You slap a Gun Madoki on him to give him double attack, and you go boom boom, and you get your opponent down, and you kill them. Whoa, nice Exodia combo. It's never going to happen. It's cute. It's fun. But there we go. So that is it. Obviously, a lot of very, very powerful cards for yellow. Yellow just remaining a very, very powerful, very beginner-friendly deck. I think the biggest thing with yellow is it is super easy to play if you just hand it to a beginner. Every deck with yellow is relatively straightforward to play and pretty good. I wouldn't say any of them are like S tier meta, but I'd say all of them are like at least B tier, which is obviously very, very nice. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do like it if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content, deck profiles, and stuff coming up soon. Thanks for sticking with me. Sorry for the reduced upload schedule, but, you know, I will have a job now, and that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cheers.